guest today is Captain Parth Samay, the Human Resources Functionality. Parth Samay is heading Southern Region HR for Geo. So, welcome on board, Parth. Am I correct in the
Thank
technical description?
Yes, yes, you are. Absolutely.
It's a pleasure talking to you after a long time for the consumption of the audience. Parth and I are from the academy, same company, same course, and same platoon. So, long association. Now, I'll start with my first question, Parth. If you can tell us your journey of last almost 16 years now in HR and how
Yes.
others can, kind of be there. And once you have been there and done there, be their kinds.
Yeah, sure. So I've been listening to Colonel Rajiv, and really I could resonate what he was talking about. And I'll just quickly take you through my journey. I was, I can say that I was little lucky that I was doing my MBA while my papers were in process, and I was handpicked by Airtel. Airtel that time was looking for somebody in HR who could, run the entire show in Andaman Nicobar Islands in Port Blair. Little I knew that how difficult or how comfortable the world is going to be in the CV streets. I could really pick up myself where I stopped working just for 24 hours. And I took the flight. First, I came to Calcutta, then I took the flight to Port Blair. That time, only one flight used to run. Why I'm telling you this is because you can connect what I'm. So, two, three things that I did before I could really prepare for the interviews. Number one, I knew I was running or I was about to run a marathon where people have already started running. And if assuming that it was a full marathon, people have already done 20 kilometers, and I was still there in the starting point. So Brigadier Bali, Anil Bali, who was my brig commander that time, and again an ex-Georgian from my house in Bangalore, he told me very simple thing, and actually बहुत ही simple है to really put it into deployment stage. That once you have, you know, you hung your uniform and boots, just don't look back. Just don't start relating to what you have been doing here, because that is not going to really help you. And if you just keep looking straight and just think that you are starting from ground zero, it will really help you. So I started from ground zero. How I understood, I was just what I was listening was really interesting. I really had done my homework because thanks to my elder brother, who was already in corporate, settled in US, in sales, I just asked him that, what should I pick up? So there are two things that I had in mind. One, supply chain, because I was in RT, so I was thinking what all I could do, and I could relate to the books in the MBA. And then it was HR. So being in HR, couple of things came into my mind. How will I really look up or catch up with the guys who have done MBA 97, 99? So then it took me some time, but then I was on track. Once I went to Andamans, there were two, three action items that I had to do. Number one, understand the business into which I was a support element. Number two, what kind of support I would be giving as an HR and what is the value add into that business. Number three, what is my sustainability quotient? Because we are all here to, stay afloat. But then I had a lot of support with respect to understanding or not understanding a particular jargon in the corporate world. And that is how the journey is. Right. I will tell you first, then I will tell you what I didn't do right. Number one, I sat with each and every person in HR whenever I was flown to Calcutta, be it an executive who has not done MBA, but he is doing payroll, just the Excel, he's doing VLOOKUP, doing corrections, seeing what are the errors in payroll, because it is money after all. And I started making notes. From there to appraisal process, sitting with them, and right up to where the CHRO was working. And this helped me a lot. This helped me build the gap between what we study in MBA and what I was actually doing on the ground. And there was actually a gap. And that particular moment, I could see that if I make, the entire HR in a blog format, like Karan Raji was talking about, like HR operations, starting from talent acquisition to HR operation to how you run the entire appraisal, what are the statutory compliance, how you do the BGV check to finally putting somebody on board, what is the documentation process, so on and so forth. If I segmentize that and learn it correctly, I will be able to add value in terms of saying we can do this process correctly or this way. In my ninth month of journey in Airtel, post leaving the armed forces, I gave a suggestion how to do corrective actions in payroll where the turnaround time of running the payroll of 4 to 5 days, that time it wasn't that advanced like we are having right now. It used to take 5 to 6 days roughly. And that time, Mr. Shrutikant Pal, who was CHRO, he was really impressed and he made me give a presentation on it. And it was successful. So they ensured that this is replicated. And that was the first Six Sigma project that I did. And it was a green belt because it also had a lot of EQ plus the revenue side being addressed. And from there on, when things, I knew that I can talk a lot of HR jargons correctly and place them appropriately or maybe in a well articulated manner. Somebody from Tata Teleservices spotted me in Calcutta and they picked me up. And that time I was given the entire talent acquisition responsibility for East. In Tata, I ensured that I go and attend each and every course which Tata was promoting. But then, yeah, you have to qualify like you have in armed forces also. And you come back and then you do your project. And I could do two more Greenbelt project in Tata's. And that gave me a lot of confidence. My first breakthrough after 3 years and about 9 months in Tata's was my first breakthrough of being an head HR in Tikona, and that is what I was waiting for. That gave me entire boost that I could catch up with all those guys who ran the marathon first before me. Yeah, and I could reach up to them, and I took and grabbed this because Goldman Sachs, who were investors in Tikona, to pick me up and sort things right for Mr. Prakash Bajpai, who is a well-known figure in telecom industry. And since I could understand the business so well, he was very keen to put me on board ASAP. And right from drafting an offer letter, and I designed my own appointment letter, by the way, in Tikona, and going all the way to putting compliances, going to all the PF offices, getting registration done up to Delhi, back in south, then east, and coming back in west. It was an amazing journey. Goldman Sachs, as an investor, had their own network. So after that, I was picked up by Actis and TPG, and the entire project was different that time because I was entering into a zone where there was a legacy of 18 years. In a very loose language, we call it a Lala company. In very sophisticated language, we call it very strengthened proprietary driven organization. So I took that assignment, though I had a zero experience in payment, retail, and color division or segment. I didn't have any experience. But I was so confident that if I have to really build a powerful HR or HR culture in an organization, this is going to be a good breakthrough. Tikona, I picked up an assignment where there were 645 employees. I pulled it up to 5,800. When I joined AGS in 2011, they were in June. There were 845 employees. And when I left in 2021, I left them at 15,800. But when I joined, it was only India operation. But I then started Secure Value, which is a payment industry. Then I started Total Payment Gateway. That is, we did an M&A with the Novus Technology and build offices in Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia, in the entire SEA, going all the way to Colombo. This was an amazing journey. It was an amazing journey. Did a lot of big stuff, setting up offices offshore, talking to their HR or understanding their labor offices or rules or compliances. Was a good journey. I picked up this assignment in Reliance because the kind of innovation the Reliance as a digital platform is going through was immense. There are a lot of people know me in Reliance in the leadership parlance, and they know me. They could handpick me. And currently, I'm heading south. But yeah, what I left 15,800. It immense. It's yet it is 36,000 people in 5 states, and I'm totally a business HR, and we do 18,640 crores as top line as far as South is concerned, which is a big number. It is highly complex. Managing 36,000 people, you can imagine the kind of problems we have because we are all human. So there are far too many problems that we have. So that has been a journey till now.
Again, I would say that just like Sanjay, your journey also has been through step by step. You've been through hoops and all, and you also continue to add to your qualifications.
So all this while in this journey from 2005 till now, one more thing I did right is I kept on upskilling and reskilling myself. So sharpening the saw is very important, which I promote as much as possible. Now I'll tell you what I didn't do right. Okay, like I used to talking, straight cut. So I took a hit in my first 2 jobs. Okay, and by then I got matured because I was falling, pulling myself up, and then walking, running, and doing things. But that is mistake number two. In the organization that you go to initially, the first 6 months you need to be just quiet, understand what is happening, and give your ideas in the right time, the right moment. Because out here, it's the timing of earning brownie points and cutting the edge with your, parallels that you have in the organization is a must. And so you got to be very, very conscious about it. I have had rendezvous with many of the seniors from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard in various forums, and I have seen a couple of instances, or then a lot of stories that they shared. Even in Reliance has got a huge amount of फौजीज that we have. That हम लोग आए और हम लोग ने सोचा कि भाई this is the way talk and the line in which we have to pitch, but that really didn't fly. So hence my request would be that you really need to be always conscious about that you're stepping into a particular job where people are already there and they feel that they are champions in that particular segment. So you need to bow down and give them that due respect. Just be quiet for that particular time and you're good to go. That's about it, Vipul.
Okay, I have been asking this question to the earlier two guests also, and this is the common question which I would be asking you as well.
Sure.
What are the roles and departments in the Indian Armed Forces which are parallel to or have a close resemblance to the HR function in corporate? Something which the officers can highlight on their resume.
All right. So I'll start with what they should not pick up jobs of security and administration straight away. Okay, that's a big no. Because I'm sure all of you who are audience in this forum that we are discussing or sharing our thoughts have done much, maybe 10x than what I have done. 10x in the army, because I have done nothing in army because I hardly stayed there. I was always in the field, not done anything in peace. So I very humbly submit that.
What are the roles and departments or functions in the army which an officer has done and which he can highlight in his resume if someone is moving towards an HR role?
Moving to HR role. Okay, fine. So armed forces guys can get into any of the segment in HR, like I told you, because you all have done, or rather doing everything that an HR does, right from recruiting to grooming the person in talent development, doing payroll, because payroll is not a rocket science. Now most of the payroll is automated. So, but yes, checks and balances are done by any HR leader, and that's a job. Performance appraisal. Every performance appraisal has got a different, matrix. Like in armed forces, you have a 9-pointer system. In my organization, you have only four kind of rating. That's it: one, two, three, four. That's about it. ATL is also more or less using that A1, A2, A3, A4. So that is another one. Fourth one, I already discussed at length, that is talent management and talent development, which is really, really powerful. Sixth one is very, very, very easy for you to pick up, that is statutory and compliance, because all of you have studied a lot in the armed forces. So studying StatCom and deploying StatCom is going to be a cakewalk for you. There's a lot of technology that is being used, but to get into that tech part, or rather rebuilding that tech part of HR, you have to understand the base from which it starts, which is very, very important. If you understand the base right, like कहाँ से वो पैदा होता है और कहाँ से retire करता है, like from hire to retire, how does it happen, and what are the allied functions or intersections that happen, you are good to go. The entire HR operations that I have spoken or talked about is a very, very strong administrative job. But at the end of the day, nowadays, people expect HR to understand business first and then link the HR to it, not the other way around. Yeah. So you may read a lot in like OD interventions or human resources management or human resources development or things like that in your MBA. But when you come to the ground, maybe it will become very organization specific and you will not be able to relate it exactly like that. But it 70 to 80% is going to be same. So it is not going to be that tough for you, right? So that is how I think I've spoken about all the segments, Vipul.
With this summing up, would you also be able to tell me education, skills, certifications which you would recommend for an officer who is serious about being an HR professional?
Yeah. Number one, I think Captain Sanjay was mentioning a very important point. The HR at today's date is expected to be very good in Excel, because चाहे कितने भी Tableau आ जाए, चाहे कितने भी other AI driven functions आ जाए, but you knowing Excel is your power tool, because you can show a lot of trends, analysis, how the figures are moving, so on and so forth. That's number one. I'm going from base level. Number two, representing that particular data or trend or delta that you have seen in the Excel, how you represent in your PowerPoint is the second most powerful thing. Third, how to draft policies and processes. You go to Google, you will see this is all self-learning that I'm talking about, gentlemen. And it is important that you self-learn first. The moment you do this self-learn and go to your classrooms in MBA, it will be very, very easy for you. And talking in interview becomes easiest, because the moment you know that if they say why should you hire you as a HR, you say that yeah, I can show trend, I can relate to business, I know how to make dashboards. The word dashboard itself is so powerful now that the moment you say dashboard, the people understand that you know quite a lot of it. That's the base. Number two, please do project management courses, because project management, irrespective of what you choose, be HR, be sales, marketing, supply chain, it is going to be handy for you. Number three, at least do one Six Sigma course. and a one live project.
Captain Parth was saying, do a qualification in Excel, spruce up your Excel skills, learn how to draft policies and processes, do a Six Sigma project and a live project. This is while you're preparing for your transition.
You gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head down.